Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here, and today we're going to talk about how to set goals for yourself. So it's January, it's a brand new year, and that means we definitely want to start fresh. There's plenty of incentive for us to say this is a new year, new me, and a new way for me to show up to work. I have one technique that I've used with a number of my clients, which is to understand how we're going to anchor our progress in January for the rest of the year, and then ask ourselves two important questions that will help set you up for success. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we do is just take a look at what we have on our plate for the year. So this is 2022 and it's January. That means we want to have a clear understanding of what we'd like to accomplish in general from now until December. So for example, that could mean that you want to get promoted. So you're going to work your way backwards and say, well, I've started some of the pre-work in 2021 of getting in front of the right people, and now this is my year. I start showing how I'm going to be working in that new space, how I'm going to be leading, inspiring the people around me, influencing those around me, and taking action for the goal that I've set for myself. Okay, so you now know that this year is going to be mapped out in terms of where you're collecting your wins, who you're supposed to get to know better, how you're going to make sure you stay on track with your supervisor, your boss, and at the end of the year, you have a very strong feeling that you'll be set up well for a promotion. Now, in this space, all the way back to January, we want to ask from now until the end of the month, what simple steps can I take to feel like I've anchored my goals in the beginning so that I have a clear path forward, or I have some good momentum. Now, for example, if you feel like you want to be promoted, then you'll start January by picking up from where you left off in December of 2021, which is to say, I'm going to have further conversations with my boss. Maybe I'll create a map and explain, this is where I feel I need to develop. What are your thoughts? And your boss will be able to sit down with you and say, yeah, I see your map, but also I'd like you to work in these areas as well. And I'd like you to get to know these people, some stakeholders for some bigger projects, etc. So now we have an understanding of your bigger goal for the end of the year, and then how you can start strong in January. Now, compounding that, we have two questions we want to ask, and they're related to behavior and attitude. So the first question we ask is, what am I going to stop doing? So we want to start clearing out old habits and old attitudes that are holding you back. Now, you want to take a look at 2021 and ask yourself, where in that space did I feel I was playing small? Did I get feedback that my behavior was holding me back? Where did I run into potentially conflict that I realized, oh, I didn't handle this very well? Where I always would respond in a certain way that I just need to leave that behavior behind. Maybe when things became stressful, I would procrastinate. Or when situations became contentious, I would disappear. Observations like this will help you understand, it may have been a compensation technique at the time, but I'm now in a new year. I'm going to show up as a more evolved version of myself, and that means I'm going to leave those habits behind. So let's say it's procrastination. It's potentially just because you don't understand a situation, and many times you tend to lean into procrastination because that just is your ability to keep things compartmentalized. So your agreement for yourself for the new year is, I'm no longer going to procrastinate. If I find that I'm procrastinating, I need to remember who I am and what I'm really dealing with, and then change your mindset. So if you're procrastinating because you're not dealing with conflict well, or you don't understand some element of your job and that causes you to just wait until the last minute to get some things done, you can, and this is a coaching technique, is to look at it from a different point of view or a different perspective. So procrastinating can be very difficult, and we can be very hard on ourselves when it comes to putting things off. and saying, I do my best work at the last minute. Not really true. You're just motivated by an external stimulus that's causing you to work in a stressful situation. And if you get into that habit, you'll start to realize that always get the best ideas in stressful situations, which is a terrible feedback loop. That's not necessarily true. You can get your best ideas in a stimulating situation, but it doesn't need to be stressful. Okay, so in order to leave that behind, you just want to see things from a different perspective and ask yourself, what am I pushing into that's causing me to procrastinate or do this habit that's holding me back? In which case, we're going to redefine what that is, and then we're going to ask the second question, which is, what can I add? So I want to know, what can I subtract? And then now I want to know, what habit or attitude or behavior can I add that's going to help me achieve the things that I want for the new year? And in this case, if you spend a lot of time procrastinating, you might consider adding prioritizing. So I'm going to redefine my behavior from being a procrastinator. So this is the thing that I want to leave behind. And if I redefine it as having a better understanding or a better grasp of prioritizing my work, I've now added a different attitude, belief, behavior that's no longer going to hold me back, but it's going to move me forward. And understanding that by prioritizing your work, you've redefined what procrastination looks like, because what's going to happen is the things that you don't really want to do, they're going to go to the bottom of the priority list. But now you're going to understand why. Why am I prioritizing them this way? And you're asking yourself these simple questions. What is it that I'm doing that's causing me to feel like this is a painful space, right? So if you're procrastinating, it's possible that you're struggling with a situation that you don't understand. So by putting it back into the prioritization list, you've now created a space where you can write in a to-do list, possibly learn more about this space before I start taking action. Your unconscious mind is holding you back, and if that's the case, step back and take a breather and understand why. So that's it for this video on how to set goals for yourself. We talked about understanding what we need to accomplish in the whole year, anchoring to January, which is going to help you accomplish something in the first 30 days and gives you momentum and a roadmap going forward. Then we talked about a great coaching exercise that talks about asking yourself, what will you leave behind? What will you let go of? And then what will you add? And what's most relevant in this exercise is how you can take the same thing and redefine it, therefore changing your attitudes, your behaviors, and your approach to dealing with this particular problem. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.